Today we broke the mold. We went on the internet and we wanted to find out what the top 5 questions people are asking about Boise, Idaho today. Stay tuned. It was fun. We thought it would be, something different to do is go type in, there's probably websites about that you can go online and type in any topic and they will tell you what the most asked questions are. Now, this is different than AI for the most part. We're not asking it to create a story or do any tasks or anything like that. This is literally of the internet questions that get out there on a search engine. When it comes to Boise, Idaho, what are the top 5 rankings? Number 1, is Boise a good place to live? You ask us, unqualified, yes, we love it here.
I love this place.
Why do we love it here? That's a long list. That's a video by itself, which we will be doing next week. Start with the people. We love the people here. They're friendly. I mean, super friendly. You walking across the parking lot, somebody you don't know will walk up and say, hey, how's your day going? And they actually are interested and they want an answer. It's not like they're trying to get you to sign some petition or they're trying to get money from you or anything else. No, they just want to know, hey, you having a good day? That's awesome. We love that. There's fantastic food. There is fantastic weather. We're going to get more into that in a minute. Gosh, there's so many things. Boise by itself has over 5,000 acres of open space. I was going to call it greenbelt, but it's not just greenbelt. It's true open space. Parks. You've got gigantic parks like Ann Morrison and Albertson down by BSU. You've got the greenbelt that runs, I believe it's 23 miles along the Boise River. You have, all the parks that are in the foothills and the bench area. You got Hyde Park. I mean, there's just so many things to do in Boise that you can't even, this turns into an hour-long video if I talk about all the things we like about Boise. So yes, it's a great place to live. Number 2, what's it like to live in Boise? It's fun, honestly.
Yeah, it's cool. It's freaking awesome.
There is great shopping. There is, the traffic. If you're coming out of a big city, there's no traffic in Boise. I don't care where you are, what you're doing. I've left our house. Kirsten and I live over Meridian, over on the border with Eagle. And we've left our house at 5 o'clock during the week, gone to the airport. I've dropped her off at the airport, spent a little bit of time on the curb saying goodbye, get back in the car, and I'm back at my home before 6 o'clock. That's rush hour, and I can get there no problem. Now, most of people in Boise live west of the city center. So from a commute standpoint, you're looking at heavier traffic heading eastbound in the morning and heavier traffic westbound on the way back out. So if there is any traffic to hit, that's going to do it. And if there's an accident or flooding on the interchange, the connector, where I-84 breaks off and goes down to 184 into downtown, that throws everything out. Then you actually will have some traffic. But other than that, there's not a lot of bad traffic here. So, what's it like? It's fun. I'll leave it at that. Question number 3 on the list. Is Boise conservative? It depends.
What does that mean?
If you're coming from a coastal city on the West Coast, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, or if you're coming from Boston or New York, then yes, Boise's very conservative. If you grew up in Idaho, or if you're coming from anywhere other than Boise or maybe Sun Valley, then Boise's not super conservative. However, it depends. Is it the People's Republic of Santa Monica? Absolutely not. It's far more conservative. Is it as conservative as Eagle or Meridian? No, it's more liberal. It's probably the most liberal, it's certainly the biggest city in all of Idaho, and it's probably the most liberal city in Idaho too, but it's on a scale. It's not, everything's relative. Like I said, if you're coming from a coastal West Coast city, no, Boise's conservative. If you came from a more conservative area, then Boise seems kind of liberal. The North End certainly, but it doesn't seem to be a problem with anybody when you're driving around talking to people. It's not an issue. But if you live left of center, it's probably conservative. If you live really right of center, it's going to feel kind of liberal. So there you have that one. It is what it is. Number 4, does Boise get snow?
What, snow? Snow.
Yes, but not like most of Idaho and not like Montana or Wyoming or Mammoth, California after last year with their 800 inches. So when we talk about Boise and weather, we talk about the Treasure Valley. So that goes from the border with Oregon over on Ontario all the way to just east of Boise before you get to Mountain Home. And it goes from its lowest altitude-wise, its lowest over by Oregon, and then higher as you get to the east side of Boise. So Boise is higher than most of the Treasure Valley, Most of the snow hits the mountains, the Boise front, the Boise Mountains, the Boise foothills, and then the town gets it, and certainly Meridian Eagle, everybody else gets snow too, but it's not like if you're up in McCall, which is, a couple hours north of here, they get almost 4 feet of snow every year. I think we average 18 to 21 inches on a given year. The 2016, which is labeled as Snowmageddon here, they got 36 inches, I think. Mammoth last year, winter of 2022 into 23, got over 800 inches. So it's all relative. And the good news is it melts really, really quick. We get small doses, they melt quick, so it's not like you're digging out every time you turn around. Yes, we get snow, enough to enjoy. Usually you have a white Christmas, but you're not digging out and you're not feeling like you're stuck in the North Pole or anything like that. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Yes, we get it, but no, we're not digging out of it to the point where we're like, oh my gosh, please let it quit snowing. Never had that happen here that I can remember. Number 5 on the list. What's the weather like in Boise? And, the great news is we get all 4 seasons. We truly do.
4 seasons.
4 seasons?
The fall is glorious. I mean, that word doesn't even cover enough. It is spectacular. We live in the city of trees. They all change color for the most part. So, come into September, early October, it is an explosion of color everywhere. It's almost like being back in New England where you see entire mountains covered in it, but it's all the Treasure Valley. Spectacular fall. Not a really long fall, but spectacular. We don't get cold typically until Halloween. First cold front usually comes in right about the same time of Halloween. Last year it came in November 2nd, and then it stayed cold through May. Longest winter on record. Wasn't the coldest winter on record, but it just stayed. We didn't break 60 degrees from the 2nd of November till the early part of May. So that record went all the way back to 1875. So it was a long winter, but it wasn't necessarily a brutal cold winter. Springtime will break your heart here in Idaho because there's about 15 different springs before you actually get to summer. Because it will start warming up. You're like, oh, this is great. It got up to the 60s, and then bam, it's back in the 20s the next day. And then it gets warming back up again into the high 50s. You're thinking, this is great. Walking around t-shirt and shorts, and bam, here comes something else. You get into April, thinking, oh, it's been warm for like a week and a half now. Okay, I'm going to go do my spring planting, and bam, here comes another freeze, killed everything you planted. So it's interesting. We do get a lot of fronts coming through. We get a lot of rain, a lot of wind, some decent lightning storms, particularly towards the end of spring. But again, not brutal. It's beautiful when everything turns green because it's just, you start seeing the little buds and all of a sudden you wake up one morning and the whole town's green. Love it. June and July are really, really nice. I mean, I'm recording this in the middle of July of 23 and we're mid-month right now. And we're just about to go into our first really 100-degree, couple of days where it's blazing hot, but then it's going to cool down right after that. But by the time we get into August gets hot consistently. Last August, we had 25 days over 100 degrees. Seriously, back to back for 25 days, every day broke 100. Our AC was running 24/7. And in September, the first couple of weeks were very, very hot as well. Then it started mitigating towards the end of the week. And then by October, it was really, really nice again. And again, Halloween, bam, here comes first cold front, and we start getting into winter. Although last year came quicker and stayed long. I mean, literally November 2nd came and winter was there. That's unusual. Usually November is hit and miss, and then December starts getting cold. But the beauty of it is that we really do get all 4 seasons, and what I really like about them, with last winter being an exception, a notable exception, is they all last just long enough to start getting tired of them, and the next one starts. 3 months of spring, the storms, the wind, all that, you're like, okay, I'm ready for it to stay warm for a while. You hit summer, and it gets hot, and summer could be a little bit shorter, but by the time you get to mid-September, you're like, okay, I'm really ready for fall. Get into October, it starts cooling off again. Then the colors change, and then we start getting cool, and then November and December are nice without being brutally cold. And then January, February they're cold. There's no question about it. Then it starts warming up March, April, and we're back in the cycle. But the cool thing is you do get all 4 seasons. None of them are exceptionally brutal. And even though 25 days over 100 degrees sounds really, really hard, and it was hot, no question. We've lived in areas where you would have 100 degrees plus 100% humidity, for the whole month. That's truly brutal. We don't have that, so the humidity's not that bad. Like right now, middle of July, probably 35-40% humidity, and we have a storm front coming in next week. Humidity will probably come up right before that storm front gets here. We might hit 50% come Sunday when it gets over 100, but as a rule, 40 to 60% during summer, and the wintertime gets down in the single digits, of course, and then springtime it gets higher up into the 70, 80, 90% range when the fronts are coming through. But all in all, it's nice and balanced, and it's enjoyable. You get to wear all of your coats. You get to wear all your shorts and t-shirts. You can wear flip-flops in the summer, your Arctic boots in the winter if you want. So if you like weather, if you like the changes in seasons, you're going to love the weather in Idaho. We certainly do. So that's the top 5 things, plus the bonus question, is Boise, Idaho in the United States?
Did you really just ask me that?
Yes, it is, for the one person on earth who asked that question. But those are the top 5. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel, give us a like down below. If there's other topics you'd like us to cover, primarily real estate, but also adventuring, because we do a lot of that, drop us a comment, send us a DM. We'll be happy to cover it and get a video made for it, all right? Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.